Hello and welcome to our goal setting masterclass. So this is just a brief recap on the article that I posted a little bit earlier on this week. It's the new year. It's the first week that most people are back at work this year, 2021. So it's exciting and it's important to set your goals if you haven't done so already. Many people will have set New Year's resolutions, which are all well and good. And later on this month, I'll talk about New Year's resolutions and the difference between goals and resolutions. And, we'll get into that later on this month. But presently, I want to focus on goal setting because it's a really, really important time to look at the year ahead, to reevaluate where you're going, what you're thinking about, where you want to be, what you want to do, and to get yourself primed and ready to get there. Whether you are an employee, whether you are unemployed, whether you are an employer or a business or a team or whatever you may be, it's really, really important to set goals. I am an avid goal setter, and I've been an avid goal setter for at least 10 years. So I'm going to tell you a really funny story to get us started before I get into the nitty-gritty of goal setting. So my amazing and wonderful husband of 10 years, we've been together 10 years this year, and we are very, very different in many ways. And one of those ways is goal setting. So every year we go away for Christmas, or we spend a few days somewhere in, rural Australia or near the coast or something, just chilling out after Christmas. And I always have my notebook and my pen, and I'm journaling because it's one of the things that I do. It really helps me to get stuff down on paper. So we might be at the beach and I'm journaling, or we might be driving along in the car, and I will always say to him, honey, what are your goals for this year? What are your goals? What are your dreams and ambitions? What do you want to achieve this year? And he's had the same goal for most years, and that's the only thing. I'm like, what else? And what else? And what else? So I get very excited because this is something that really excites me, because I know the power of setting goals. And I know that when you set goals, that they can come to fruition, and they do, but you need to focus. And there is more than just writing it on paper, closing your book and coming back to it next January and thinking, oh, I didn't get to that goal. So what we're going to unpack here today in this really quick workshop is how to really achieve those goals and make them happen for you. But anyway, getting back to my husband. So he has one goal, and it's to have 3 months salary in the bank, enough to allow us to be comfortable if anything happened to either of our jobs, or if I had to travel back to Ireland to see my family, so that we would always have a rather large cushion, that we would be comfortable and be able to look after our lives. And that's it. So as the year goes on, and as the years have gone on, obviously that cushion has grown because our expenses have grown, but it just hasn't managed to happen. And I will often say that's his goal. It's not my goal, although it is a great goal for our family to have that goal. I will say, like, so what happened? He's like, oh, well, there's no point in setting goals because they don't come about. So I will go through with him what I'm about to go through with you and say, honey, but okay, so you set the goal and you close the book. But what did you do throughout the year to see if that goal will come about? What did you actually do to say, okay, this is my goal, so I'm going to keep focusing on it, and then I'm going to put this money away, or I came into this windfall, or this money was unexpected, so I'm going to put that into the kitty. I'm like, that didn't happen. Any unexpected windfalls or money that came about, it was spent. I'm probably partially to blame for that too, but if you want to set a goal, you keep it at the forefront of your mind at all times. You remember it, you write it down, you do different things with it. And I think, having one goal is fine, but not having any goals at all is like getting in your car to go somewhere, not knowing where that somewhere is. Let me repeat that again. So in my opinion, not having goals and not setting goals for yourself every year is like getting into your car to go somewhere, but not actually know where you want to go or where you're going. It's like driving around without a map, no destination, because your goal is your destination. It's where you want to get to. It's what you want to achieve. And then what we work on, what the goal setting workshops that we put together and we deliver as part of the Institute of Empowered Psychology is, how do you get from where you are now to where you want to be? When I work with people in coaching on a one-on-one basis, we look at the big goals, the big dreams and ambitions that my clients have. And we say, okay, everything is possible. But we need to set the goal and we need to see where we are now and how we're going to bridge the gap, because it's all about bridging the gap, and it's possible when you know what you need to do to get there. Do you need new skills? Do you need to learn a new language? Do you need to learn a new something or other? Do you need to make new connections? It's going to be different because everybody's goals are different. I will share with you my goal and my strategy for setting goals, and I'll take a little quick recap near the end as to the goals that I've achieved in the past year and how that happens and how that consistently happens for me. I had one of the most amazing years of my life last year, 2020, which was a year that so many people absolutely wrote off because of the circumstances that occurred. I lost my job. I signed a $20 million client for the company that I work for, and then I lost my job. So I was so excited because I actually achieved two of my goals for the year in signing that client. It was a bummer that I lost my job, but you know what? It gave me the opportunity to start coaching full-time and realize my passion and the lives that I've changed since I've started coaching full-time. It's worth so much more than anything else. That if I was to continue in a job that I love to do, but it wasn't fulfilling me, it was keeping me small, and it was not allowing me to get out there to help all of the people that I've been called here to help and to work with, and all of the students, by setting up the Institute of Empowered Psychology, by working with students and empowering them to become hypnotherapists and coaches, and empowering them to help people that they can help, that to coach people to set up their own side hustles, their own businesses in healing and helping, in therapy and in coaching. It's a really amazing thing. But when you look at things, the way that you set goals, they will not always eventuate the way that you expect that they will. And you have to be okay with that. You need to kind of throw your hands up to God and say, okay, I release it because this is what I want. And I'm putting focus on the things that I want to achieve. And if you're going to help to guide me there, universe, just get me there. And I'm not going to stand in your way because I've asked you to do this by setting this goal. So the key, so step number one is to, I suppose, understand goal setting. Step number one is understand, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? So in order to define clear goals, your first step is to determine exactly what it is that you want to achieve. If you don't know where you're going, you can't figure out a route how to get there. So just like I said, like getting into your car with no destination. So you can't plug into your GPS where to go because you don't know where you're going. So Siri can't tell you what way to drive on the road because you don't know where you're going. So the first step is define that clear goal, whatever it is, big, small, or indifferent. I like to say shoot for the moon, because if you don't hit the moon, you'll land somewhere among the stars. And that is so true. So number one, understand what you want to achieve, and don't be afraid to dream big dreams and set big goals. Because once you know where you want to be and what you want to achieve, you will be able to come up with the goals to help you get there. So have some brainstorming. Think about, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Take the time to sit down and brainstorm your long-term plans, your dreams and your desires. And then you work backwards from 5 years. what you need to see, what you need to achieve to get you there. What are the things that you want to see in 5 years' time eventuate in your life? Is it a business? Is it family? Is it love? Is it relationships? Is it mending broken bridges? Is it new career opportunities? Whatever that may be. Have a think about it, break it down, and then we work backwards from there. Okay? So number one, understand what you want to achieve. Number two, determine a timeline. Determine a timeline. So we set, say, a 5-year goal, for instance. So we're going to work backwards from 5 years, but every year, so just to give you an insight into what I do, on my birthday every year, this year specifically, I guess I turned 35. So I've got 5 years before I turn 40. I've got big, big, big dreams and goals from when I turn 40, what my life is going to look like then. So what I've decided to do is set these massive, as we like to call them, BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals that will completely transform my life. So breaking that back down is in the steps to make those goals. What is it going to look like? What does the timeline look like for me? So we break it down into 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and how my business goals need to eventuate to get me there. Business and health being the most important, because your personal goals are sometimes a reflection of your business goals, or if you're like me running your own business, or if you are career orientated, you need to focus on your health, because your health is your wealth. And if your family, your personal goals, etc., can sometimes be determined by how you live your life with your business or your career, etc. So it's important to determine the timeline that you want to achieve things. So we're going to break this down just for this year, for instance. What I like to do is set the goals that I want to achieve in the year. And then I will break the goals down into, what do I want to see eventuated in 6 months' time? So that I can really kind of, it's like sifting through the flour, right? So you're kind of breaking it down a little bit more. And then I sift through it even more, and I break it down to 3 months. Okay, so in 3 months, in order to get to where I want to be in 6 months, what do I need to have achieved in 3 months' time? And then we break 3 months down monthly. So at the end of every month, within each quarter, what needs to have happened to help me to reach that 3-month goal? So where am I going to be at? And it's okay if you don't hit like the big goal, like the top of the iceberg, so to speak. That's okay. But what you need to do is strive to get towards it, because if you don't have a destination, you might run out of fuel somewhere along the way, but at least you know where you're going. You're not driving around in circles, or even worse, staying stationary. Because I've had a big fear. One of my greatest fears in life is mediocrity, and to remain living a mediocre life forever, for any time, to just be remaining stagnant and still and not moving forward and not helping other people to move forward. Because that's why my life is so fulfilling as a coach and a trainer of coaches and hypnotherapists, because you are inspiring people every day to move their lives forward, to not stay stagnant, to not live a life of mediocrity, to live a life of abundance, of opportunity, and of absolute enjoyment and excitement. So in order to do that, we determine a timeline. We're determining what we do. And then when we break down our weekly goals, our daily goals, we know what we're moving towards. We're not sitting at the desk saying, shit, what am I going to do now? Because your goals are gone out the window. You wrote them down on January 1 and they're gone. It's not like that. You're focusing on these goals every day because you're breaking them down, and you're really making them super easy to accomplish, because if I do a little bit today, or a little bit each day, twice a week, 3 days a week, at the end of the week, I'll be this much further towards achieving that goal, whatever that goal may be. So it is important to have a think about that and how you can break those big goals down into your 6 months, into your 3 months, into your 1 month, and then of course weekly. So weekly to achieve the 1 month, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, achieve your quarter goal. From your quarter to achieve your half year goal. And then from your half year, you know, if you're on track, you know how to get to your end of year goal. And, you know, maybe things will change. Like last year, it was such a changeable year. Some things had to pivot. In order for me to achieve the big goals that I set for myself at the beginning of last year, I had to pivot a lot, and I had to release myself, knowing that I believe that I can achieve these goals, but I'm just moving towards them in whatever way that the universe is directing me and guiding me. And it did. So just have self-belief, have belief in that when you set something and you look at it and you manifest it and you think about it and you focus on it, that it will come about. So you make the plan to keep you on track, and, you know, just allow changes to happen. Number 3, ensure your goals are realistic. Okay. Realistic goals. So, you know, is it actually something that you can achieve? Is it within your reach? You know, you may say, I want to be the president of this country, or I want to be the prime minister of this country, but you're not even involved in politics. Well, that's not very likely that you may be able to achieve a goal like that this year. However, if you wanted to use that as a 5-year or a 10-year goal, maybe that's possible, because then you start to make small steps. You join your local council. Perhaps you go for election as a local councillor. Maybe you join some volunteer clubs. Maybe you join the local party, and you can develop your interest and your knowledge and your status in that area. Maybe you volunteer. I don't know what it takes to become a politician, but, you know, in that way, you have to take it step by step by step, if that is something that you want. But the realization is that if you wanted to be the prime minister of the country this year, the Taoiseach or the president, it's highly unlikely unless you're well on your way to getting there. And then we can talk about how you just make sure that that happens, but it needs to be a realistic goal. So what else would be an unrealistic goal? Maybe losing weight. So if you said, I wanted to lose 10 kilos, but you're not going to change your diet and you're not going to exercise, well, that's totally unrealistic, because you're not going to lose 10 kilos. It's not going to just fall off you, is it? So you need to do the action in order to achieve the goal. So whatever your goals may be, you really need to be realistic, and you need to, you know, break those big goals down into small action steps, because sometimes when goals are a little bit fuzzy, they're not realistic. But the more clear that goal is, and the more clear that you allow it to be, the more achievable it becomes. So you may reach multiple goals along the way to achieving your big goal. So you can have milestones that I want to be able to get fit and healthy. That could be on your way to losing 10 kilos. So it might be, I want to be able to run 3 kilometers. That's a mini goal. Great. Well done. You've achieved it. Now what else? Maybe it might be running 5K, 10K. It could be losing 5 kg, because that might be part of, at least you're halfway there. Now what else has to change? Maybe you stop drinking, you reduce alcohol consumption. Maybe you stop eating chocolate or sugar, and maybe it's coffee that you need to give up. Whatever it might be for you, maybe it's joining a gym. It's about making a realistic goal and then putting the action steps in place that will make that happen for you. The next goal, the next point being be specific. So you clarify your goals with the details of exactly what you want. So don't be like vague, like I would say to my husband, okay, so you want to set this goal, and then how are you going to get there? Oh no, that's just the goal. But there was no steps involved. There was no acknowledgement. He just said it, and then the next year he'd be like, well, what's the point? I set a goal and it didn't happen. I'm like, but what did you do to try and make that happen. And, you know, I'll be guilty myself in the first couple of years of goal setting. I thought it was like, you know, this is why I'm not a big fan of resolutions, because it's something you write in a book and you close the book and you put it away. Now I have a whole shelf full of all of my notebooks from the years, and I do look through it from time to time and laugh and think, wow, okay, but so many of the goals that I've set for myself throughout the years have come to fruition, because I'm an entrepreneur and a business person, and we dream big. Because if you're not setting goals as an entrepreneur or a business person, then what are you aiming for? What are your projections? What can you achieve? What can your staff achieve? Where are you going for? Like, what motivates you to get up in the morning to run your business, not just to open the doors? You need to be thinking about more than that. It needs to be more exciting, that you get everybody on board and everybody knows that they're part of a bigger mission, that they're part of something that's really going to change both their lives and the lives of the people that you touch with your product or service that you offer. And you as an employee must feel the same, excited about what you're doing, about how you're changing people's lives, how you're improving people's lives at what you do every day. It will help you jump out of bed with a spring in your step to be able to really acknowledge that you're making a contribution and a change to the world. So be specific. What are the things that you can do that are making, you know, that are making a change? For example, if you were to say, I want to make more money in my business. Well, that's great. Of course, we all want to make more money. Or I want to make more money in my career. If your boss was to say to you, okay, here you go, here's $1. That's more money. It's not specific. You want to say, I want to make an extra 10 grand in my wages this year. You need to actually write down the figure. I want to make, if your wage is $100,000, I want to make $150,000 this year. Don't question, don't say, oh, well, there's no way that could happen. Just write it down. Because when you write it down and you focus on achieving it, the universe has a magnificent way of making that happen. So you need to be specific. You need to see, if you're a business person, maybe you want to make $1 million profit this year. Maybe you want to make $10 million profit. Maybe you want to hit the billionaire club. Whatever it may be for your business, that's okay. But you can't just say we want to hit the next level. Be specific with what you want to achieve. And then number 5, refine your goals. So make your big goals, and then, like I said, break them down. They may change as the year changes. I tend to review my goals 3 times a year. So my goals are always rolling over, but they will change because the circumstances change. You know, different things happen in your life and so on and so forth. So it's okay to refine your goals, because it just, you know, keeps you on track. You don't have to eliminate them totally, but you just get more towards really defining what it is that you're going to get and how you want it. So in redefining your goals, for instance, I set my goals in January. I refine them on July, because at the end of June, because July is the financial year in Australia. So I'll see how I'm trekking towards my financial goals, or generating my financial goals will run to the financial year. And then I will look at, you know, that would be a lot of business goals essentially, but also that's 6 months into my goal setting. My birthday is in September. So I always review my goals on my birthday. I spend the whole day just looking at, where am I at? What do I want? What do I want to achieve in my next year of my life? This year that we're put on the planet, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to come back to the following year and say, wow, that was a great year. Look at all of the awesome stuff that I did. Look what I achieved. Look how I was able to help people. Look what I was able to do with my family. So have a think about that. And then have your goals close to you. So I'm going to give you a quick squiz at my goals. So I have 2 places. So first and foremost, I have my Remarkable, and my wonderful husband bought me for Christmas because he said that there's too many notebooks in our house. So it's time to collate everything to one place, which is amazing. So I have this beautiful notebook which contains my goals. So I have a different page for all of my goals. I have business goals, personal goals, family goals, and health goals. So there are 4 categories through which I put my goals. Of course, they're all the same, but like I mentioned at the beginning, some of the goals feed into each other, because if you don't have your health is your wealth, you may not be able to do the things that you want to do with your family. You may not be able to do the things that you want to do in your business. You may not be able to do the things that you want to do in life. You may be blocking yourself to moving towards your 5-year goals, your 5-year plan. So my 2021 goals. So I've got my business goals, my family goals, my health goals, my personal goals. So I'll read you out, and this is on a whiteboard that I pop up here across from my desk. So I'm looking at it every day. When I sit down at my desk, it's just there. What do I want to achieve? Am I on track towards that? And then I'll get another whiteboard and I'll break down my my quarterly goals to see how I'm tracking. And at the end of each week to see, okay, where am I going to? What are we achieving? Where are we on the ball to? So let me give you an example of some of the goals. So it would be to run 10 courses live this year, to enroll 100 students in our program this year, to launch, which is really exciting, and this is a bit of a secret announcement, that to launch a membership site this year, which will include 8 online courses within that, and with our family to move into our apartment, to take 2 family vacations this year, and to help my son prepare for school. So he'll be starting primary school next year. So I really want to give everything I can to spend time with him, to help him prepare and be in the best possible place to begin his schooling next year. Health, stop smoking. I've been a smoker for 25 years, and it was time to stop smoking this year. I tried it a few years ago and I did really, really well, but stress kicked in again. And I could have stopped this year when I learned hypnosis and NLP and timeline therapy very easily. But it was a stressful year. While I'm very upbeat and I'm very focused and everything else, it was still a stressful year. So I focused on thinking, in the new year, the cigarettes are going to go. So we're 1 week in, and I hypnotize myself every night. I have a hypnosis recording and I check myself every day, and I'm totally over it. I don't even remember that I ever smoked before, to be honest. I want to give up alcohol for 6 months this year. So maybe not 6 consecutive months, but for 6 years, for my health and for my vitality, because I know I love to have a drink. However, I love how I feel when I don't drink. And that's really important too. I want to run a half marathon, because I've started running like pretty hard over the last couple of years. So I want to really kind of focus on doing that. So that's a health thing. And then personal. So I want to honor my daily routine. I have a morning routine, and I'm going to do a post on this later on this month, because again, starting your day off super well is a really great way to begin your day, your week, your month, to hit your goals, to hit the ground running. So I want to honor my daily routine. I want to get up, at sunrise every day and really start to do my meditation every day and get into a flow with that, because I know that I'm going to be better. To fulfill for growth. So, for growth in my business, to understand, to learn new skills that I don't already know, and better articulation, better listening, and become an even better coach. So continuing to upskill and train and to be the best mom, wife, and friend that I can be. Because that's so important to me, because family are what everything is about. And that's key. So what I've put together is a workbook for you to create your own strategic goal setting practice. So you can put everything together that you want to do to set your goals and to get into a place where you know exactly what you're doing. So you can download from here. So just click on the link underneath the video to download the strategic goal setting workbook. And I hope that will help you. We'll just give you some tips and tricks as to how to think about things differently. it's important to dream big dreams. It's important to set goals because you know where you're going. You know what you're going to achieve. You know what you want to achieve. So believe in yourself and see what you can do, because anything is possible if you write your goals down, and you can write them down every day as part of your morning routine if you want to, so you keep them at the forefront of your mind. You can write them up like I do on a big board and have it right in front of you so you remember. But don't write your goals and put them in a book and put them in a shelf, because it's not going to happen if you're not focusing on it. It's not like you write a wish and then you send it off to the fairies. That's not what happens in the real world. In the real world, we set a goal, we make it happen. So I believe that you can. I hope that you believe that you can too. I'm Aisling Smith-Vance, and it's been awesome goal setting with you. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.